slash enemy Riku, and this of the death battle between Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog. But before we begin, please leave a like if you agree with our points, and if you also want to keep notified of the great material of the great things that will be coming to this channel. And also another thing, we are still going to be doing that Spider-Man 2 playthrough. So like I said, we got a lot to go. But before that, that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about the death battle between Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog. So, let's get on to it. So, as you guys know, there was beautiful, beautiful cartoons when you were young. You always loved it.
Or if you're still a kid, then you're missing out.
Yeah, you're missing out if you're a kid. If you're a kid now. But being in the back of the year 2000s was wonderful because we were always still getting beautiful cartoons. And one cartoon really showed what Courage the Cowardly Dog is, a dog that obviously is named Courage, that once he was a little pup, once he was a little pup, was found by Muriel, who lives in the middle of nowhere with her husband Eustace Bag. But creepy things keep showing around. It was up to Courage to save his new home. So we got that beautiful cartoon, and then another cartoon of what we kept getting is great, wonderful episodes of one dog being in a group, going around, searching around for mysteries, and being able to find out what is causing destruction and despair all across its town. And we found Mystery Incorporated, aka...
Well, to be exact, Scooby-Doo was originally in the 70s, but anyway.
But anyways, so we also got the beautiful Mystery Incorporated, aka where we got Freddy, Velma, Daphne,
Shaggy, and
and Scooby-Doo. So, and now
you sound more like his uncle for some reason.
And now Death Battle has decided to put these two in the Death Battle of the Century. Now, here is where we are going to start with our predictions. So I don't know if my friend Riku has seen it, but we saw the two beginning analysis. Just those kind of videos saying, he's making an appearance, and says just a very little. And we also got Courage as well just a few days ago. And really, it kind of looked as though it is going to be giving Courage some things that we might be thinking that Scoob is not going to be able to fight. AKA giving him the Holy Bone. Which, if you guys don't know what the Holy Bone is, basically it is the bone that any mortal dog could not resist. But Courage was able to resist it, and in the end keep it for himself. So really, it kind of does seem as though maybe Courage will use that bone. And depending on how much you guys really know about Scoob is not really technically said to be a mortal dog. He is said in the comics to basically be this prophecy of a god. Now, whether or not they actually say that, that's kind of iffy. Now, here's the thing that I have to really kind of mention about this, is the fact that the dog that Courage was looking for in the show I don't really necessarily know if that dog was a mortal dog or if that actually was one of the holy dogs. Which, I mean, it would kind of make sense because of the fact that he the pet of a goddess. Because when she was there and trying to say to Muriel that she was going to take courage, and they were getting into a fight, you could tell she was being able to use her power to basically make everything, like make it windy, make it rainy, stuff like that. So really, you kind of are thinking, hey, was that dog a mortal dog? And even a mortal dog can still be affected by it. We don't know. So, with that being said, um, you know, that would kind of seemingly give Courage the advantage because of the fact that he would be able to use that on Scoob. Now, I will let Riku speak for a few minutes about what he thinks. Riku, take it over.
All right. Well, sorry for interrupting earlier. Oh, I was just kind of wanted to say stuff, but anyway. What I was gonna say, I think Scooby Doo will win just because of the fact he's actually had formal training at times. Like if you remember in Scooby Doo and the Black Samurai, he learned a little bit of martial arts with Daphne and friends when they're at the tournament. Also, oh yeah, spoilers ahead for the movie. Sorry about that. But also the fact that he eventually became a samurai himself, so he has really good sword fighting skills as well. And hell, he even took down the Black Samurai, who was seen to be only able to be taken down by a dragon, who was their teacher and trained them. Yes, the fact that the dragon went into the sword does kind of conflict with that. But I wouldn't say exactly, because I would say it's more of he made the sword stronger, but the fact that Scooby was able to still fight him one on one is still very impressive. But not just that, he has like with both Courage and Scoob, they have like a weird way of being able to trick people with very cheesy disguises. Like, yeah, that's the cliche cartoon status, but that's just how a lot of them were. Like I would believe, like, based on my knowledge, I don't know Courage as much as Sora here does, but I know a little bit. And the fact that he can see through disguises pretty decently might be a little bit edge there, but the fact that I would say not Scoob, god dang it. Courage is a lot slower than Scoob, like, cause Scoob, like, he outruns like multiple different monsters on the daily. Courage, like, he doesn't, yes, he outruns them, but that's mostly because the enemies that are monsters that he go against are not that fast. Like, from my understanding, like, most of them are kind of slow. And not just that, but both Courage and Scoob have these inherents with them, and that is the fact that. Oh, sorry, I had something in my throat for a second. But the fact was that they have the the rubber hose, not rubber hose, but very stretchy animations of the time of the 2000s, where anything could really happen. Like, oh hey, one moment you could be like shaped like a normal person, and out of nowhere you can take your head will be the shape of a jar. If your head got put into a jar, it'll take up the shape, but when you take it out, it goes back in the jar shape. So, yeah, I can understand like some of that. So, but another thing is that I would say the other reason is because the fact that Scooby has been around way longer, he has way more availability of options that he could use. So it would make sense that in my opinion, that he would have an advantage.
Right.
But that's just what I think. But we'll have to see for everyone else on that.
All right. Now with that, it'll come back to me. And here, as you guys have already noticed, my friend Riku is going to be on the side of Scoob winning the fight, and I am obviously on the side of Courage winning the fight. And the reason I say this for Courage is the fact thing about it. Almost every fight that Courage has had to go through in their monsters is you'll notice that Courage's fights have mostly been with uh very what do I want to say
Real.
very real ghosts because and yes, I will admit, Scoob has had instances where he has fought actual ghosts. But here's the real thing about it, though. Courage has fought many things that have been to the point of ghosts, aka the ghost of the slob. That was a pure on ghost where it was making
I
um
thought slab.
slab. I thought I said slab. I
You said
meant
slob.
well, slab. Um, he was constantly making really making three plagues, which was one was filling up the house full of water, and Courage went down to empty out the water. Then the second one, find where um, a player, an old play a music player was, and took that down. And then obviously he couldn't do anything about the third one, so then he just gave the slab back, and that was it. Then secondly, he fought the monster woman in the water, where obviously Courage ain't gonna fight, obviously ain't gonna do much since he's a dog going into water. But he was smart enough to outswim and get out of there, and while saving Eustace. So there's that part. And then he's fought. He's I could go. The list goes on and on in the show of how many people he has actually fought that has been Ghost. And really, the fact of the matter that Scoob's people enemies who he's always have encountered almost always is actual people. Now, I'm saying almost because obviously, like my friend Riku has just mentioned, there are times that he has fought actual ghost. But in the real case, that Courage has obviously fought way more ghost than what Courage has. I mean, than what Scoob has. Then it's also in the case that really Courage has went through numerous amount of damage. We have seen Courage get really beat to the point where he's really gotten beat to the point where that dog really should have been dead. He really shouldn't have been able to move, but he was still being able to push and get back up. So I would already say that in the case of durability, Courage obviously has the advantage of being really more durable than Scoob. To also really mention in the point, obviously too, Courage, Courage's Courage's abilities of being able to really just uh, defy uh, defy laws and physics has really shown that his he's basically just like a cartoon god like the Mask. or really kind of using like anything with like Deadpool using the
Or I'm sorry to interrupt. I want to give a suggestion, kind of like any rubber hose animation, where they just literally can get splat, turn a liquid, pretty much anything could happen, and they'll be still fine. For
yeah
example, in a previous death battle with Popeye versus Saitama, Popeye was able to got in the Popeye universe, turned off the universe, and he was just fine.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's really the case. That's really the case of the matter. That Courage has been able when he's in a situation, he's been able to literally liquefy himself and be able to just get out of a situation, and then immediately bring himself back into dog form, and he was completely fine. Then also, and that even makes it to where he completely gets rid of all the damage that he suffered from, which which really I personally have never really seen Scoob do something as create as really laud as really cartoon defying physics as Courage has. That dog has really been through a lot to protect his family. And that is really the drive of Courage. Courage has that mental ability, that mental drive of no matter what happens, he will go through anything to stop whatever he is going through in order to save his family. So 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 with all of that being said, my prediction is I don't think it is going to be a cakewalk, but I am going to say I do not think Scoob has what it takes to beat him, because because durability wise, just because of really the more experience of really facing things that can't be defined, or I think that's the word. It's defined. Yeah, I think it's defined. Or one easy word to say
Categorized,
is
defined.
explained. Um, explained slash understood. There's a lot of words that you could say about it, but
The
to
unknown.
me, yeah, to me, it's the fact that I just see Courage being able to win due to those reasons. Now, like I said before, it's not gonna be an easy cakewalk, cause like my friend Riku has said, he has Scooby has a lot of abilities inventory in his pocket, but just the way Courage makes it to where he goes liquefied, then back to dog form, just in a brief of a second. And also, one other thing I need to mention is that Courage really does not show that his ability of being able to pull out any weapons, or being able to like do the vehicles or anything like that. It has not been shown that he has any form of um limitations on doing that. It really makes it to where it seems that he can just do it whenever he wants to. So again, my prediction and who I am going for, I am going to say it is going to be Courage the Cowardly Dog, who is going to get this win in the death battle. Now we will let um, our friend Riku say his last stance on the fight. Let him tell us who he is choosing, and then that will be it. And we will be making a video as soon as the fight is over, and we will be declaring who won. So with that being said, Riku, you take it on.
All right. Well, not exactly for what Sora said. For example, Scoop was had times be like it depends on which medium you're going by. Like more modern day portrayals of him, yes, he's not as cartoony, but there were generations where he's been way more. Like, for example, oddly enough, the original live action duo movies, he was very stretchy in those. Like his body, like somehow, the best way I can describe it, like you could literally take him and stretch his body from one side to the other at times. And I would say it just depends on the story of where he's at when that happens. So majority of the time he's able to be fine. Like he's and not just that. As I said before, he's incredibly fast. So he could like when all those people like the people in disguise as monsters, the actual monsters themselves, whatever, he can dodge those attacks really easily. Like they get sword swipe up and down, all that, and be perfectly fine. But once but that's a screw up. Sorry. But Courage doesn't really like yes, both are very easily scared. Like but I'm saying like unlike Courage, Scoop doesn't stand there while yelling right after that. He doesn't go like ah I just stay on that for like minutes at like for about a minute and then run. He has a very good fight or flight response. In my opinion, Courage doesn't really have that like right off the bat. Like I'm saying in comparison, like he has a good one, but just nowhere near as good. So, another thing I want to say is like I want to compare for another one who I want to compare Scooby Doo to would be Majin Buu in a way. Like what I mean is that he is like how Majin Buu can stretch around and all that and be able to be all over the place. Like that's easy for him to do. Like he again, like really stretchy. I would say he's like somewhat like a watered down version of Tom from Tom and Jerry in a way because he does have the same like very stretchy, over the top reactions, but I would say it's because he's not constantly fighting someone that's like, for example, Jerry, who's constantly trying to torture him and all that. But there's times he doesn't get hurt from like things that should kill him. Other times he does. Again, it just kind of depends on the story. So it's really up in the air, and for that part, in my opinion. But I still say like he can actually, oddly enough, he's a lot more durable the more he eats because he turns to a giant balloon. And he's also done things that I know for a fact Courage has never done. That I've seen, at least. And that is be able to inflate himself. Like, there's times where he literally took, like, an air pump, filled his body up, and starts flying. Other times he's been, used at, like, depending on, again, the movie that you're in, he has different, basically, like, skills and stuff that he can do. So it just really depends on like how like where they take the resource from. Like I gotta say the show Velma, that version of Scooby Doo, it literally has nothing he can do. So I would not trust that one with just even taking care of a little egg. And I'm not even not even talking about a fertilized egg. I'm talking like a raw egg that you can get from the store. Like that one I don't trust on anything. But hey, what? There's always that stuff going on.
Yeah.
And
oh, sorry.
It's all right. You can say what you want to say. I'll let you.
Which I will also say that is actually false. There has been many times where Courage has actually inflated himself to being able to do things. Like there was even there was a time in one of the episodes where I'm trying to say Muriel was in a situation you can still hear me. Oh, no, hold on. It switched me back to the party. I don't know why. Anyways, so what I was going to say was that there was an episode where Muriel was really sick and Eustace was complaining about going to go get some hamburgers, or she was making hamburgers, and we obviously she was too sick to do. So then he decided to go and get himself a hamburger, and while and him and Courage were sitting there waiting for their hamburger, and Courage was getting a weird vibe about what's being at this restaurant. There's like hardly anybody there, and the pig was there, kind of giving weird vibes, anyways, like smiling like evilly burger at when he was about to put ketchup, and found that somebody's face was in the food. So he smushed it and tried to show Eustace, and in the end, obviously Eustace didn't see it. And then he literally inflated himself um, to be able to try to explain, explain to Eustace, and he kind of just shrugged it off. But yes, Courage has been able to inflate himself, and really has been able to basically, really extend himself to huge lengths. And the fact of that, I will also state, when you saying that Scooby has been a has is real, it has been pretty fast. Courage actually is very fast. Courage, again, with that situation of being able to pull out whatever he wants in a cartoon way, is basically saying that he has been able to basically make immediate vehicles. He's been able to go to disappear and then immediately come back in a vehicle where it's been the basically a racing vehicle, a just a little scooter that moves pretty fast. I will state that Courage actually is very fast. So that is
Yes,
what
you say
I.
with the vehicles, but I want to say, I mean like natural speed wise. Like, I'm going to say that like, this is a weird comparison. Like, I know because he lost in this one. Again, spoiler. But the one, like for example, Scout versus Tracer in that death battle. Like, based on the fact that Scout himself was able to move like incredibly fast on his own because he's just been practicing running all the time. But I'm also saying, like, yes, for the fact with Tracer, it's time related, so that is a little unfair for him. But what I'm saying is, when you have an event where, oh hey, someone could literally run extremely fast, and oddly enough, and this is where this is the odd one, oddly be able to find whatever he needs at the right time. Like that's the thing. It's kind of similar to Courage's having the anything he needs at the time in his pocket. Courage ends up, nah, god dang it, Scoob ends up having the problem, not the problem, but the ability of being able to find whatever he needs at the right time. Like, oh hey, be fast enough to needs to get away faster. Oh, finds a go kart or something. Oh, needs to. Another example is needs to be able to somewhat fight off the person for a minute. He can find a sword or something. Like it's just like those things are always the thing. Like every single movie, TV show, everything that I can think of off the top of my head, or not even top of my head, like that I know of, that he's able to do. Like he's been able to fight like that multiple times. And again, that's where I'm going to say is probably the biggest thing, and that's experience. Not just the fact, like I know you're saying experience for him fighting actual creatures, but the thing with that, he doesn't really fight them. Is from where the biggest thing is there. Yes, he goes against them and stuff, but he never really. The only time that I can think of that he really confronted one is the giant foot guy from Eustace, because they had to use dog saliva to get rid of it, which again, gross. But anyway, what I want to say is the fact that Scoob actually, even though he's a coward as well and scared, but he does do stuff to be able to try to fight back when he needs to. Like, example, the second live-action Scooby-Doo movie. He was terrified, but when he saw his friends and his owner, his best friend of all time, about to die in front of him, he really stood up and fought back against all these incredibly powerful monsters, and again, with what I said, be able to find what he needed at the right time. The fire extinguisher that froze the glob. It was either, I can't remember if it's the blob monster or glob monster. I can't remember. But anyway, the fact that he was able to freeze him with that, perfect timing for that. He got good enough for fighting style to go against the minor 49er. Uh, Another one was he he earlier on caused the pterodactyl ghost to go headfirst into a billboard while driving to try to get away from it. Um, Another one was, yes, and that's another thing. Scooby Doo could drive as well. Saying with the goat cart thing. Another one, like I'm giving a lot from this movie, but that's where I would say a big chunk of his feats, like in a short amount of time, were. He was able to take down like a bunch of those real monsters very quickly on his own. And again, on his own, like all his friends were pretty much not incapacitated, but unavailable at the time. Like they couldn't do anything.
Alrighty. Nope, sorry.
And my last thing I want to say, and this is where I'm not sure about Courage, but I know about Scooby does, and where the cartoonish defying physics thing is, he can control how long he stays in the air for some reason.
I think so.
But because if you remember, again, the Scooby Doo 2 movie.
Yep. All right. With that being said, guys, that is it. So So as it's coming down, we gave out a good amount of examples, strengths, weaknesses about these competitors. So with that being said, guys, don't forget the death battle is going to be happening in about 4 minutes. I think it's around 4 minutes. I think they do it at like 12 o'clock. Make sure it's on the northeastern time. It is 11:56 right now for us. And so with that being said, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys have learned a lot about what these characters can do. And with that being said, be sure to put in the comments before you watch the video and tell us who you think is gonna win. And like I said, be sure to be checking in in 4 minutes to see the death battle live or watch it after. And then we will be making a video on saying who wins and the reason and if we agree with it. So with that being said, we love you guys. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell for a notification on when we go live again, and we will see you guys next time. And before we leave, we got a little surprise for you. And it is, geez, I wonder what's going on. Or my name is Hoofemaner, and thank goodness it's not. And Scooby-Dooby-Doo!